Alright guys, hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the showdown between the Skaven and Vampire counts. It's going to be a Skaven Slave Chieftain combo lord facing off against Heinrich Kemmler, perhaps looking for Krell here on the battlefield. So let's get this party started, let's have some fun, and let's break down the builds. So for the Skaven, it's going to be a massive Vermintide build. So taking advantage of the +8 leadership that the Skaven army is going to be getting from the power grab, just using a ton of clan rats. So if we take a look here, their base leadership, well not base, but their leadership after modifiers is going to be 66. With 65 on these guys in the front, which is really good for their price point, right? So ideally, you just get a million rats, you kind of swarm the battlefield, and you give the vampire counts, who of course love to swarm, a taste of their own medicine. Now you're going to be noticing a bit of an absence of something that is very meta and very much a staple against rush factions for the Skaven, which is the Globadiers. There are no Globadiers in the build, which I would probably guess is some sort of a mind game trick to kind of like out meta your opponent, right? Because the vampire counts are going to be expecting Globadiers, right? They're just like hands down one of the strongest units on the roster, especially against these type of factions. So vampire counts as a result going to be bringing mostly like chaff units, nothing that Globadiers can really milk a ton of value off. But in doing that, the Skaven are going to be switching it up, spending that extra money that they would normally have on like 3 Globadiers on just a ton of units, and punishing the vampire counts for not having any really good infantry fighting power, which is really kind of a cool mind game. But for the Skaven army, like I said, Vermintide, Slingers, Ogres, but the big epicenter of actual damage and stopping power is probably going to be coming from the Plague Priest on the Furnace, which does have a Mortis Engine effect. It does 5 to 10 damage, so it's a very weak Mortis Engine, but even still, against like zombies, skeletons, things like that, it's not bad. And for the vampire counts, it is going to be Crypt Ghouls looking to ambush up here on the high ground point, so you can see them moving through. Going to be trying to pick off some rats up here on the top. Heinrich Kemmler, he's not a bad choice. He does have the Chaos Tomb Blade. I think that's what it's called, the Chaos Tomb Blade. Yeah, so this basically, can resurrect and do some cool stuff like that. A little bit of healing and melee attack. And, even though Krell isn't quite as punishing against Skaven, I still think having him in the back pocket for the 150 or 200 gold he costs is worth it, simply because it's like terror on a stick. If you need a terror route in a position, you could just kind of drop him and he'll get the job done. For the rest of the army, it's going to be zombies and skeletons and corpse guards. Like I said, the entire vampire count army looks to be very oriented around avoiding getting punished by Globadiers. Nothing here is really that vulnerable. Yeah, Globadiers will kill zombies and skeletons quickly, but even if they wipe out 3 full zombies, it's only 300 gold, right? So it's not that huge of a deal. Whereas your Crypt Horrors and your SEMs and your big scary, punishing units will do the heavy lifting. So right out of the gates, the Skaven going to be moving up with their dreaded Vermintide up on the objective. Plague Priest chilling back in the forest here. I would imagine that's just not an intentional play. I would see the Plague Priest moving up with the army, but Skaven definitely like Itza. Itza is a really good map for armies like Skaven, like Dwarves, that can just have a single big formation battle line, hold 2 objectives, right? Which is really nice. If you're on Black Ark and you're playing a formation-based army, you're still going to have to move up and get to that second objective or partition off your forces to press the side objective on Black Ark, which can be very stressful for a faction like Dwarves, like Grand Cathay. Granted, they can do it, but even still, this is what these type of factions really like. So we'll do a little bit of fast forwarding. It looks like the vampire counts may be taken a little bit off guard by the Skaven width. So they're going to be doing the Mordor tactics, as I like to call them. So what that means is they're going to be safely contesting this high ground point. We do have the double Crypt Ghouls up here. Oh my goodness, is this going to be happening? It is the Deathmaster. He has emerged, the true actual lord in the army. And he does have the concealment bombs, and he's going to be dropping it like it's hot right here for sure. He's going to be using the trap in a second. Probably will do about 40% damage to Heinrich. I'd be surprised. Here he comes, concealment bombs, ambush. And Heinrich does get the anime backflip right there, and immediately he's going to be starting to run. Oh man, did the Skaven player not bring the snare? Oh no. That could have been a lot of extra free damage there. It could have gotten Heinrich down to 40% perhaps. But anyways, in another life. Up here, we do have Clan Rats looking to do battle with the Crypt Ghouls, so the Vampire Counts do want the high ground objective, and they're just waiting until they get a critical mass to win in the low ground, so the Crypt Ghouls should defeat the Clan Rats. Look at this, like a bunch of little golems chasing giant rat people. It's only in Warhammer Fantasy would you see this, as the rats are chased off the objective a little bit. I could have sworn there was another unit up here. I guess that was just Deathmaster, but it looks like the Chieftain moving up as well, and Heinrich is going to be on his way back in as Deathmaster, and the Chieftain going to be piling in to try and help out these little clan rats. But this is a very entrenched Skaven formation. I guess it's very much like an onion Skaven tactic, right? There's many layers of the onion you have to peel, and as you get deeper and deeper, you're going to be crying more and more as you get more pebbles to the face, more rat ogres kind of giving you the business, and all that sort of good stuff. Now, historically speaking, this has been, I would say, a vampire count favored matchup, but ever since Skaven players discovered the power grab combo, I would say it hasn't been as much the case. The extra 8 leadership across the entire roster is pretty absurd and really gives Skaven a much better chance against factions that typically could break their leadership and whatnot. So here we do have the Crypt Horrors moving up, so there are going to be 2 of those looking to collapse on the side. Granted, Skaven Slave Spears, Rat Ogres, as well as Slingers will be very good against them. And the Skaven trying to contest this objective. The Chieftain and the Clan Rats doing a good job kind of harassing and poking here, as we do see some Crypt Horrors moving across to really make sure that the Vampire Counts lock down this objective. And this should be the end of the Skaven here, as the poison from the Crypt Ghouls will apply, making them pretty much unable to get away. So down on the low ground, it looks like the first Duel of Fates is upon us, as the Necromancer with the Forbidden Rod has come out and is getting pebbled in the face pretty horribly. And oh my god, Deathmaster is going to be coming through, but it looks like he gets trapped up on the zombies. And the Necromancer is going to be charging into the Skaven Slaves here, backed up by the Devils of Sportshofen. So they will be landing on the ground here. But, you know, this is a great thing about Skaven Slave Slingers. They're literally like a 200 gold trash unit, so if somebody spends a lot to go after them... Oh, big Winds of Death from the front line. Beautiful. Oh my god, that was pure destruction. Drakons with the MLG Winds of Death, absolutely terminating 2 Clan Rat Spears. Now, I know that's only 600-700 gold in value, but that's not bad. Those are some of the better quality units that the Skaven have in their army, so that was definitely worth it. Look how long it takes these Vargheists to just cut through these Skaven Slaves. It's pretty hilarious. In the meantime, Deathmaster does get back here. He is able to get some nice prison shanks on the old Necromancer. So that's going to be a pretty big win. Now, taking a look at the value overall, the Skaven are slightly ahead, but that's pretty much to be expected. Vampire Counts have a ton of healing on the roster, so not really a big deal. As far as the gold army value on the battlefield, it's pretty much, well, Vampire Counts or Skaven just summoned in some units, but it's pretty darn close. So Skaven in the backfield did summon in the Ixcha's Triads, the dreaded Guando Rats, which I do like quite a bit. The Guando Rats will be able to kind of surge in there and get on top of the Crypt Horrors and take them down. I think Ixcha's Triads are great. The clone is also really nice for blocking cavalry charges and all sorts of cool mechanics from that. So there they go. They got their shanks out. Going to be attacking the Crypt Horrors, who suddenly start to take quite a bit of damage. But, you know, this is not something you say terribly often. The Skaven battle line is holding very well against the Vampire Counts. The brave Clan Rats of whatever clan this is, looks like Clan Eshin, are holding on like champs. And Clan Rat Spears on the side, still maintaining the capture weight on the point. The Vampire Counts haven't quite been able to wrestle that one. And look at the capture weight the Skaven have in the middle objective. 27 capture weight is pretty insane, right, with all those cheap Clan Rats. Because, you know, each Clan Rat, they're not considered expendable unless you're a Skaven slave. So Clan Rats actually do a full 5 capture weight for only, what, 300 gold? Talk about a really, really solid deal, right? So the Devils in the backfield have been trying their best. They've been hunting down many of these cheap rat units and have only managed to get 116 value on the Skaven Slaves for a 1,000 gold unit. That's pretty painful for sure. And up in the middle, we do see Heinrich Kemmler and company. But once again, Heinrich finds himself in the clutches of the Deathmaster. The Deathmaster in here with his nice Weeping Blades. And if Heinrich's not going to be able to get away with his emo horse here, he is going to be having some problems, as I would imagine he's going to be kind of close to crumbling. Weak binding, ladies and gentlemen. If he were to die this early, that would be a massive, massive disaster. It looks like Invocation does go down. And this is kind of one of the faults of Deathmaster, is he doesn't really have the best mass, so he's not excellent at kind of pushing through and finishing off targets in a big like melee type blob fight situation. So side objective is under Skaven control. Looks like they have enough assets to kind of hold this. Vampire Counts have a little bit of momentum here with skeletons, but overall I think Skaven are okay here. But where the Skaven are in a little bit of danger of maybe losing the objective would be the middle. You can see this one kind of flipping back and forth and back and forth. Currently the capture weight for objective 2 is favoring the Skaven relatively heavily, but that can all change in a moment if some of their units do get terror routed, and that would probably be one of my few critiques of the Vampire Count build, is not bringing any sort of a terror route. Like, I think like a single black coach or something could like rear charge into this formation, and suddenly the Skaven have no capture weight. Like, terror has always been one of the biggest issues for Skaven, even after the changes, or I should say the exploit of the Chieftain Power Grab combo. So Clan Rats battling against Direwolves up here, Duel of Fates. I think the Clan Rats might be able to hold it. It's hard to say. The Direwolves are actually pretty healthy, so maybe they'll kind of edge that fight out there. Looks like there's no Skaven reinforcements, so this is truly a Duel of Fates for that high ground objective up there. The Vampire Counts currently do own. In the middle, though, Vampire Counts are really struggling to get this point back. We do see the Skaven Slave Slingers just launching a hellish salvo into the Crypt Horrors here, at least trying to. And Warp Grinders coming in. Interesting. Warp Grinders are cool. You don't see them terribly often. Skaven have so many neat units, and they have such a dense roster for sure. Like Brood Horrors, Mutant Rat Ogres, Warp Grinders. There's just so many things you almost never see. Warp Grinders, I could see them having some applications in domination mode, especially with the Skaven Tide type build, like just like the Vermintide, right? Like a little bit of a wider build, so you have more stuff to kind of support them. And I guess they will be okay for staring down any cavalry charges that are going to be coming in. So value trading is massively favoring the Skaven. Oh my goodness. And you have to remember the Vampire Counts are also fighting in a Mortis Engine fight, so they're being out-Mortised here. It's only about 1,000 value on the Plague Priest, but 1,000 value is 3 units of skeletons, which is pretty substantial in like a pit fight like this, right? And on top of that, magic is being brought to the table, and you know, it's mainly Crypt Horrors and terrible infantry being mashed into spears and rat ogres, and just hordes and hordes of decent quality infantry. So, well, I guess decent with air quotes, right? And that's going to be a victory, man. The Vampire Count player does tap out, down by about 5,000 value. And there is an example of, you know, using the meta, existing meta, but not using it to your advantage, if you guys see what I'm saying. That was one of the main reasons I really wanted to kind of show this build here. But yeah, really neat. Just huge Vermintide. Not a single Globadier summoned. There were some in reserve, which makes sense, but like, The vampire counts seem to be kind of like, okay, I'm expecting globes. Let's just bring terrible infantry, and then there's no globes, right? And then suddenly it's like, oh my god. The Vargas did really, really poorly, though, man. I wonder what their application is against Skaven. Like, what do they... I think you bring the Vargas to kill globes, because globes have a ton of armor, and these guys can land on them and kill them in a couple seconds. But since there was no good targets for them, yeah, they really paid the troll toll. So GG, well played to these two players. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you back on the other side. Take care of yourselves, and that's going to be it for today.